All right, what it do, y'all? It's Ty back with Trace Relations. We're gonna have another Dr. John Delony episode analysis, review, reaction, whatever y'all want to call it. Today it's called "Wife Wants Divorce After I Went to a Strip Club." Now, as always, we're not gonna judge before we hear, but dang man, there's some situations where they might be like, oh, bachelor party, let's go crazy. No, sir, you can't do that. You can't do that. Anyways, let's get into the video. If y'all want to check out Dr. John Delony, check out his channel.
We started to kind of do better,
y'all.
and I think she just felt an obligation. So my question is, how do I navigate life after a sudden divorce? And it wasn't even like a week, and she served me papers at like the beginning of November.
A week? Okay.
What in the world's going on? Happy New Year. This is John with the Dr. John Delony Show. Talking about your relationships, your mental and emotional health, you're raising kids, trying to keep a marriage together. Look, whatever you got going on in your life, trying to navigate a divorce, whatever you got going on in your life, here's my promise. I'll sit with you and we'll figure out what's the next right move. The last 2 decades plus, I've been sitting with hurting people trying to figure out what's the next right move after they've blown their lives up or someone else has blown their life up or just life has happened. So if you want to be on the show, I'd love to have you. Give me a buzz at 1-844-693-3291 or go to johndeloney.com/ask. And before we start the show, please hit the subscribe button. Hit the subscribe button, especially on the YouTubes and the podcast. It makes such a huge difference across the board for us.
Quick reminder, sub to the channel, y'all. Sub and like the video if y'all like the content. Keep it going for more.
All right, let's roll out to East Texas. Almost Louisiana, but not quite. Tyler, Texas, and talk to Andrew. Hey, Andrew, what's up?
So my question is, how do I navigate life after a sudden divorce?
I don't know what happened.
I have a few paragraphs, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Or would you rather just go into it?
I mean, yeah, don't read all paragraphs, but just tell me the story.
Me and my wife got together in 2020. That's when we got married. I had trauma from a sexual assault that happened to me by a superior in the Army in 2018. And
I'm sorry,
before that, no, it's okay. Thank you. And then an abusive relationship before that. After I got out of the Army, I was abusing alcohol while I was in, secretly keeping porn from her. It got worse within the first year of marriage. I got out of the military. We moved in with her dad as I was transitioning to civilian life. We both got civilian jobs. She eventually started sitting in her car with a coworker that was higher up than her.
Y'all, I know the red flags already started. They already raising, y'all. Wow. Okay.
And
Let me just say it's different. See, and the key word he just used there that really determined like how I thought about this is it wasn't like they're going nowhere. It's different if he would have said, oh, she has to go some places with her coworker, because that's still weird. But it's like y'all are just chilling in the car. Why? You know what I mean? Like let's find out more.
told her to stop. She did, but kept doing it out of obligation.
Out of obligation,
Like just sitting in the car, like they were hanging out together a lot.
Yeah, she made it sound like they were just that she was naive to his intention. She was a virgin when we got together, so
Come on, bro.
I kind of gave her the benefit of the doubt.
Were you wrong?
Yeah. He had other intentions.
Yeah, and she did too.
Yeah.
Yep. See, he's gonna say naive. She was naive because she was a virgin. You know what I mean? Y'all, he don't know that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you as a man, you don't know that, you know? And so to use that as an excuse on why you're trying to defend her image when she's hanging out with a nigga in her car on multiple occasions after you've asked her to stop. And then by the way it seems is he's trying to be like, oh, she was naive. She didn't know that he had ulterior motives. I'm going to be honest with y'all right here, right now. And I will say there is a solidly like 2% that doesn't fit into the category, which I'm about to say. But other than that, it was 98% shot. So this isn't high school. This isn't middle school. This isn't elementary. You aren't just making friends. You know what I mean? You're an adult now. So you shouldn't first feel an obligation to be with someone, even if they're your superior. But also the fact of it being, oh, I didn't know he had ulterior motives. What else is a grown man doing hanging out with you in your car multiple times? And I'm guessing he knew that you had a man as well. Because obviously if they hadn't gone anywhere past that, it was because he knew you were in the way. Now, she knows that too though. So if she can't view the fact of it being, oh, this man is hanging out with me oh so much on our alone time, let it click, bro. Let it click. I don't know if you got to spell it out or what, but she most definitely knew what she was doing. She wasn't naive to it. And I could tell you she most definitely probably wasn't a virgin either. I'm sorry, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
maybe not initially, but she did too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it was definitely not my fault, but I did things that contributed, like neglect and abusing weed after the army, and then lying about the porn. And so when I got a feeling something was going on, I came clean about half of my porn use, and I ended up catching her at his place. We ended up staying together.
Catching her at his place and staying together are two things that should never be like in the same sentence, bro. Now, I will say I really feel bad for this man. Andrew, prayers out to you, dog. Sending all my prayers towards Tyler. You know what I mean? Hey, I'm Ty. You know what I mean? No, side note. But after getting out the army, like he said throughout the army he drank. I've heard of a lot of veterans coming back, or just people who are over, stationed out, being in the army and stuff like that. They would turn to alcoholism. You know what I mean? Because it'd be much easier to get alcohol than, you can't smoke, you can't do other things, and you're putting yourself through not only like the rigorous training that it takes to be a cadet and all that, but also just the living situations over there. Like I don't know where you're stationed at, but you could be doing something that I would never even imagine myself doing. And that's stuff that beats up your mentality no matter how strong of a person you are. Now, whenever it comes to the point of alcohol being introduced, it's a way of numbing that pain. It's a way of, in your free time, not sorrowing at what's going on, but being able to live life and be like, oh, I'm feeling it a little more. You know what I'm saying? Like, it gets you in higher spirits. Now, of course, throughout time, it will staggeringly change, and you'll be able to notice a difference because it'll start going lower and lower and lower, because the alcohol will still affect your body in a negative way, but it won't give you the positive effects. It's the same way with everything. You know what I mean? Too much of anything will not only kill you, but it'll dull out your senses. Like it won't even be fun to do it no more. It'll just be something you have to do because it's an obligation that you put on your body. You know what I mean? It's not obligated like actually, but just like in an addiction mental battle, that's your obligation. So along with the alcoholism, he said, and then pornography, and then he said after he got out the army, he started smoking. So that's probably something he was like, okay, I gotta stop drinking now. Let me smoke, and then he probably overused, whatever. I'm just saying everything that he said, it said that he's been going through a lot, and it's a man that's going through a lot, and he also moved in with her dad. If I'm right, I think if I'm correct, moved in with her dad. So it seems like he was in a position where he can't really do anything. You know, like you can, but would you rather stay with her and hope that, say for example, she says, "Oh, all we did is kiss," just hope that all they did was kiss, knowing they probably did more, or you break up with her and then you got to go off to your life. You can't live with her dad no more. Life's gonna go to shit. You're gonna pick up a new addiction to struggle through life and help and cope. So it seems he just took the first. You know, he said, you know what? I'll just try and forget it happened and keep going, because he's trying to survive. And that's a lot of. I'll quit rambling because I've been going on for a little bit, but I just wanted to say that's something that a lot of people deal with, not only men but women as well, where they feel latched on. And actually, I will say in most cases it would be in a woman's point of view. For example, if a woman joins, if a woman, like, ends up getting with a man, ends up moving in with him, and then ends up becoming self-reliant on him, and then he ends up doing all this shit, it's like, damn, if I back out, I'm on the streets, or I gotta go live with my mom, I gotta go do this, I gotta do that, or it's live comfortably and deal with whatever he's doing. So there's a lot of people that have to go through stuff like this. So prayers up, but also know that whatever you deal with, if you let it slide the first time, it's gonna go. It's gonna go. So
She said that they had just kissed, and
You know that wasn't
months,
true, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
and then
okay.
2 months
Okay.
after that, she came clean and said it was more than that.
Sure.
And for right after that, I used porn as a kind of like to make up for what she did. I was like, okay, you're going to be okay with porn. And she had seen that as cheating before, like early in our marriage, before any of this. And
So bring me to now. Y'all just finally called it? Because this sounds like just a mess.
yeah, so after that, we went to therapy.
Okay.
Therapist kind of said, okay, that was sexual assault, because she tried to leave the 2 times that there was sexual assault, and the second time was at the workplace, and she said no, and he got aggressive with her.
Okay.
And so it leaned more towards that, even though she had put herself in the positions. And so with therapy,
I mean,
before Dr. John goes off, I want to say something, and to those of y'all in the comments, feel free to correct me and let me know if what I think is wrong. But this is just how I feel about situations like that. First of all, especially whenever it comes to like counseling therapy, it's very risky. It's very risky because in most cases it will be something like that. Like, oh well, you just gotta accept what this happened, da 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 da. And even if you don't want to accept it, the therapist is saying, oh no, you're wrong. And really, just because you're a therapist, I'm not gonna lie. There's only a select few that actually do it. There are good therapists that do it and bad therapists that do it. So I'd say the bad ones are the ones that, like, you'll see it. Like, just with that right there, the therapist is trying to tell him, it was SA because she didn't want to do, or she tried to leave the first 2 times, whatever the case may be. But she had been with him on multiple occurrences. And I'm sorry that took me so long to say, just because it's so confusing how the therapist is the one saying that. Because I'm never gonna turn down the seriousness of SA. Everyone deserves to be heard out on whatever story they may have, what happened. But this right here, I mean, we're talking about a girl hanging out with this dude on multiple occasions, and then later on in therapy being like, oh, well, I didn't actually want to be there on this time or this time. And then this time he actually got like a little aggressive with me. But you start counting up all those numbers of the other times you and him were hanging out. Why are you still hanging out with him? So the way that the therapist was trying to put it onto Andrew, he was like, "Oh, well, you can't really get mad at her. It was SA." No, he can very well be mad at her because, Lord forgive me, but had that man still did that, why were you still hanging out with him? That's not even your man. There's he's not even your man. That's got to be a quote or something, because like there's tons of times where women in a relationship with somebody that would happen, SA, or just something like where they have like a tight knit connection, or of course it could be random, but random it's that doesn't really, we're not talking about the random. That it'd be harder to break that cycle of stop hanging out because it's like y'all are bonded. This, your coworkers, your husband's at home. You know what I mean? Like, I can't believe this. No.
Sexual assault is sexual assault is sexual assault. I guess going over to somebody's house hoping that it is just goes halfway and not all the way.
That
I
right
mean,
there.
Yeah.
This whole thing is messy.
That
but
right there.
I want to always start with, if somebody gets sexually assaulted, you in the army, her at the workplace, her with the boss, her with the power deck. I always want to start with, I'm going to sit with a victim first. Right. But what happened is what happened is what happened. Y'all reached a point where y'all just couldn't make this thing work.
Yeah. So
Okay.
it happened about 3 months ago, one of our last sessions in therapy. I pretty much said that I want a partner that's not going to care about porn,
Okay.
because I stopped wanting to go out in public because I would look at people, she would get uncomfortable, we'd get distant. I was seeking therapy, trying to get help for it, and so.
Okay, now this is what I would say where he's wrong at in this, because I'm always gonna be real with y'all. I'm always gonna go on both sides of the coin. You know, I'm like heads and tails. I'm not gonna be totally biased because of everything he said. I'll say, bro, if you've made your decision to continue like being with her and you go out with her and then you're looking at other girls avidly, dude, come on, bro. Like, yes, she's gonna get upset. Damn near the same as if y'all were hanging out and she right with you is out looking at other dudes. You would not want that. You wouldn't want her looking at other dudes, because that's not, you know? Like, oh, she sees dudes when you're not around, but you're not around. You know what I mean? Like, if you're right in front of her and she's looking at dudes, that's going to make you feel some type of way. Now, why would you do that to her? You know what I'm saying? Because I get it if you're like, oh, well, you've done this, that, and the third, blah, 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 blah. You're going to let me do this. Bro, porn is still very unhealthy, but porn is way different than looking at people like out in the middle, like while you're with your girl. You know what I mean? Like, you just gotta have better common sense when it comes to that, bro. You're not gonna win that argument in a lot of cases, mainly because it's just not right. No matter the case, even if she did that shit a long time ago, you don't need to be doing that. You know, it's too much.
We were living with her dad, who didn't hold any expectations for us, would do dishes for us, like all the stuff. I was getting VA money, so I was just isolating. She started going to the gym on her own. And one of our last sessions, I said that I want a partner that doesn't care, so I can stop for me, because I didn't want to continue doing it. And she said she wanted me out of the house until I made a decision. And so I left and ended up intoxicated at a strip club. And I got a 10-minute lap dance, like at the end of the night. And the next day I told her I was going to stop everything cold turkey, and that I went. And I came back and everything started to go in the right direction. And then I showed concern, or I showed concerns that I wanted to go to the gym with her again and that I wasn't going to look at anyone. She said she liked her time alone, brought up a few other reasons. And then pretty much right after that, asked me the details of the strip club, almost to like distance herself emotionally. And so I shared honestly, and that I regretted it all deeply. And
Dude, oh my gosh. This is just a mess. And I'm sorry, y'all. This video is going on 20 minutes. We're probably gonna have like a little longer video, but there's just one thing you gotta say, dog. If your girl tells you go think on it, the last thing you need to do is go think on it at a strip club, and then get a lap dance. Dude, it don't matter if the lap dance was 10 minutes. You couldn't last 20. You know what I'm saying? Like it don't matter the time. You went to go get a lap dance when your wife told you to think about the relationship. Dude, I'm sorry, man. I can't defend you. I can't defend you. I could pray for you. I could wish you the best in life. But right now, man, you've dug yourself in a hole. You've dug yourself in a hole. Because it was like, it's almost as if she cheated on you, and she was hanging out, and then she probably slept with him. And this is where she's at, right? Now you're like, this is where you just had her at like the whole time. I don't even know. He hasn't explained much more of what she's got going on. She's probably at the gym like going with other dudes too now. I don't know. No, I'm kidding. I'm just saying that. But at this time, it's more like, and he was actually talking about going to the gym with her, and he wouldn't like be looking around. So were you looking at other girls while you were at the gym with your girl? Boom, boom, boom. You're hitting this level over, staggering down, staggering. And then you go and get a lap dance. Bro, I'm sorry, man. It was
a week after that, we started to kind of do better. And I think she just felt an obligation to try to work through things, and ended up saying that the wounds felt too deep, and said she wanted like a month to think about everything. And it wasn't even like a week. And she served me papers at like the beginning of November.
Okay.
Man.
And that's about it.
So now, like, this episode will come out in January, but this is December. So are you in like the 60-day, you're in Texas, so it's 60-day waiting period?
Yes, sir. So January 13th.
January 13th is the final day? Okay. And as far as you know, this is over?
As far as I know, she's not reaching out. I'm practicing even if she wants to hang out, better for me, to heal, probably not to try to talk to her at all.
What? Oh my God.
Let me ask it this way.
Hold on.
Okay.
You're holding papers. They're in the 60-day period. As far as you're concerned, is this marriage over? I know she served you, and this isn't a judgment question. This just informs what happens next.
Yeah.
Okay.
She's given me no sign.
So, if there's a period at the end of this marriage, the question, how do you navigate a sudden divorce, is you put every ounce of energy you have into you getting well and you becoming somebody that you can hold your head up around.
Okay.
This entire story is a guy who does not see any value in himself. Some of that's because it was stolen from you through assault, through abuse. Some of that was because they told you that if you went to the military, that in and of itself would make you feel a certain way. And maybe it did. But then you left. And you left your brotherhood, and you left camaraderie, and you also left abuse, and you left everything. And now you're just sitting at home collecting checks. And you don't believe in you anymore. And so we're going to drink. We're going to outsource sex, not to our wives, but to strippers and to pornography. And we're going to outsource We're going to smoke a lot. All you're doing is just every morning you get up and your alarms are going off. The ones that are supposed to keep you safe, the ones that are saying, dude, you only get one life. Make the most of it. And you're like, I can't today. And you climb up and you pull the batteries out. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
And so how do you navigate a sudden divorce? You grieve like crazy because this isn't how you drew it up.
Yeah.
And you get real, real sad. And you devote yourself not to mindless, I will be a beefcake, but you're going to go exercise and you're going to go see a counselor. And alcohol, weed, pornography, it's all Xanax. It's all a numbing device to keep you from being comfortable to keep you from experiencing the discomfort you feel of living in your own skin. How long have you not liked Andrew?
I guess I've been trying to figure that out.
Don't try to figure it out. Just answer it. You haven't liked you for a long time.
Probably like maybe second grade. I remember a teacher dumping my desk out in front of all the students because I was hiding papers back there.
Okay. And just that embarrassment and the shame and the isolation all by yourself?
Yeah.
Okay. So tonight, I want you to write a letter to that second grade you. And I want you to tell second grade you that shouldn't have happened. And it wasn't your fault that you got embarrassed and ashamed. You're just a second grade little kid hiding papers. And that teacher should have treated you with more dignity. And I want you to make a commitment to 35-year-old Andrew that I'm not going to descend and become one of the millions of unmarriable men in this country.
Yeah.
But I'm going to develop a purpose. What do you want to do, man? Let me ask, that's a stupid question. Who do you want to help in this world? You can help people by being a plumber. You can help people by being a professor. You can help people by being a surgeon. You can help people by being a roofer. The job, I don't care. Who do you want to help?
I actually want to do some type of YouTube channel where I go to like parks, city parks, or colleges and ask people questions like, what's your happiest memory? What's the most painful thing you've been through? And just share people's stories.
Okay. So that has a success rate of 2%. I just made that number up. I like it. I pay all my bills with YouTube show, so I'm not anti that. But most YouTube people I see that are successful have built upon years of practicing. That's not everybody. There's some people who just show up, right? But how would you become good at interviewing? How would you become good at storytelling?
By trial and error.
Okay. How are you going to do that?
Start researching, learning video editing, media marketing, that kind of stuff.
That's the production side. Here's what I'm trying to get you to do. I want you to be very granular and very specific about what your next steps are. What courses do you need to take? Do you need to go take some classes on how to sit with people who are hurting? What are you gonna do? And one of them says, "Well, my happiest moment was the day after my dad passed away," and then, like, you know what I mean. Then now you're in it, right? So, what's the outcome? If you have a YouTube channel where you tell people stories about their happiest moments, what does that get you?
I guess just a sense of sharing that with other people, maybe that need to hear it.
Keep going. Who needs to hear that?
Someone like me.
Keep going. What do you need to hear?
That despite all of people's crazy stories, that they're still there in front of whatever camera I got.
Okay, I want you to remove the camera because you just said something profound to my friend Andrew. You can't give an audience what you don't have.
I see.
And I want you to first believe that there is life after tough stuff. And you going and reflecting everybody else's journeys isn't going to heal that hole that's inside your chest right now. You're going to have to sit down and decide, I'm worth the work that it's going to take to heal the
Okay.
abuse, what I saw during my military service, my loneliness, my failed marriage, my rubbing my wife's nose in it, her cheating on me, all those things. I got to work through those things and not
Yeah.
dwell on them and live in them, but I got to process them and get them out of my body so I can get on to the next stuff.
hmm
Do you get what I'm saying? I don't want you chasing for other people what you're trying to give yourself.
Rush into it either.
Yeah.
I know that. Yeah.
But here's what I hear you also say, that you want people to have a little bit of a better day.
Yes. Yes.
That when people get their head down or when the world knocks the wind out of them, you want there to be a path for them to see, no, that's just today, but tomorrow could be better. And that's where I want you to consider using some of that VA money, and I want you to go consider becoming a counselor, even if it's just an addictions counselor, which is just a 2-year program.
Mm.
I want you to become skilled in sitting with hurting people.
Okay.
And in the process of doing that, and dude, that might be, I learned working at Burger King that like it took 15 seconds for me when I was 17 years old taking an order that if I said, well, they would walk up to the register and they would just look straight at the menu. They wouldn't even make eye contact and be like, oh, number 1 with no cheese. And I'd go, oh, hey, how are we doing today? Fine. No, really, how are we doing? And they would drop their shoulders and make eye contact with me. And it was almost a snap back to humanity. And I realized, it takes about 15 seconds to plug in with somebody, to make somebody's day, to make them feel a little bit more human again. Or it takes 15 seconds to just completely blow by and let everybody pass each other in the day into the night. And so whether you're being a plumber, whether you're being a counselor, whether you're learning how to be in the presence of hurting people, you have a gift, and that gift is you want to see other people have a little bit better day than after they've met you than before. That's amazing. Very few people have that desire. But that means you got to go get some skills. You got to learn how to do that. And you've got the VA money, and as a taxpayer, I'm happy to support your secondary education. Why don't you go get trained in how to do that? And along the way, if you start listening to stories and you start to realize, oh, there's a thread here. I could record this and put this on YouTube. That would be amazing. And along the way, I think you're going to find Andrew. You're going to realize Andrew's worth a little bit better day too.
Man, all right. Beautiful episode. I was thinking more on what I was saying after I had said it. I was thinking it really, I'm not gonna say it depends like a substantial amount, of course, but I'm picturing what happened was like over a 4-year mark, like to this point in time. Like I thought she had cheated on him in like 3 years ago, and then it was just like over case. If I was wrong, I'll take the L on that one. But overall, y'all, one thing about relationships is if you're in it, you gotta be in it, man. If something hurts so bad to where you won't be able to get over it, then I think it's time to just call it, because that stuff you don't forget, you know. And I feel like that's just something how it was for him. He couldn't forget that, and it just hurt him every time, and it reminded him of the abuse that he had. So, as always, I'm praying for him. I'm praying for y'all as well. I hope this video was very informative, very educational to y'all as well. If y'all liked it, be sure to like the video down below, sub to the Dr. John Delony as well, and leave in the comments if y'all want to see any more videos like this as well. Y'all stay blessed. Love y'all. Peace.